Hello, sports fans. This is Steven here for JustMyPicks.com, and I'm bringing you a special National College Football breakdown. I'm going to be bringing you my predictions for the 2013-2014, the final BCS championship game that we're going to see of this decade. Pretty much the BCS is going to be going out after the season, and they're going to bring in a new playoff system to determine who is the best team in college football. I'm going to be bringing you the best two teams I think that have the chance to get through it, and I'm going to go through their seasons really quickly. I'm going to start out with the defending SEC champion, with the defending national title champion, two-time Alabama Crimson Tide, rolling in with Nick Saban. When I look at the grand scheme of things in college football, there has never been a team as dominant or a coach as dominant as we've seen now. The Alabama Crimson Tide seem to just rebuild after rebuild after rebuild, as we saw them lose three first-round picks back to back to back in the NFL draft. We saw with it's Alabama, simply sensational with Nick Saban and that coaching staff down there in Tuscaloosa. They are making it clear that they're focused on football. Having two back-to-back national championships is no small feat. We see Nick Saban constantly rebuilding. We've seen him win 3 out of 4 in the past 7 years, so it makes perfect sense how this team is going to do. When we've seen players like Mark Ingram come through the program, Trent Richardson, Marcel Darius, and then you get to the players like even now with Womack, and then you see D. Milner up there with the Jets now. You just have a lot of talent that goes from college to the NFL level when you speak about Alabama, and I think that right now, A.J. McCarron has a lot he can do with the wide receivers. He has a pretty good variety of prolific receivers down there in Tuscaloosa. We've seen that on offense they've improved. This team has lost a lot of starters on defense and offense over the years. But what do they constantly do? They constantly win SEC championship games. They constantly win national championship games. So Alabama is no stranger to success or playing or hard work. So I'm picking Alabama to take the first spot because I just feel like they have so many weapons, and Nick Saban is grinding. He is grinding on success, grinding his players, and he knows what buttons to push. He knows exactly how to do things. The big question is, can they get out the SEC unscathed? I do not think they'll get out the SEC unscathed. I think they'll have one loss, which is coming at either LSU or either when they have to go to College Station to play Texas A&M. If Johnny Manziel can get play in that game and not be suspended by them. But I'm just seeing so many things out of the University of Alabama. When you have C.J. Mosley, who is the defensive leader of that team, who really holds that team down, I'm looking for a lot of great things out of that team. And Alabama, let's face it, there's not another team in college football that can boast of success. Within the SEC, you've seen how many 7 or 8 years in a row where the national title has been decided by one of the teams that plays in the SEC, in which they have been successful in most of the time. So it's not any question that Alabama will be in the national title game. I think that with this new BCS system coming, with the new playoff system coming, that the BCS, it only feels right for Alabama to go out with the last official BCS ranking as the #1 champion. Coming in at number 2, Louisville Cardinals, with Teddy Bridgewater and company, with head coach Charlie Strong. Let me just break this down for you. Charlie Strong got his start really big at the University of Florida as a defensive coordinator for Urban Meyer. And he's done some great recruiting. We've seen him with Teddy Bridgewater and a lot of those other guys. And the way that they dismantled Will Muschamp and University of Florida last year in that bowl game really showed me a lot of things. That they didn't just walk and beat any team. They beat a valid SEC powerhouse with the University of Florida in that game. You have to look at Charlie Strong bringing back, I think it's 18 of 19 starters on offense and defense coming into this season. And then with them getting Dyer, the former Auburn running back and former Arkansas State running back who was kicked off those teams, who is now officially a Louisville Cardinal. Look at their strength of schedule. It's not very big, and that's why I'm putting them in the national title. They are no longer in the Big East. They're doing their own thing in a new conference, and they don't have any big dogs on their schedule. And at this point, I expect them to win every single game. And it may take them a couple of weeks to get up to that number 2 ranking or even a number 1 ranking. But in the long run, I look at Charlie Strong having a great mentor, and he's being a great mentor to a lot of those guys on the Cardinals football team. They seem like they want to play for Charlie Strong, which is a good thing, which he is a good coach, and I feel like if he has a good year this year, the powerhouses may call him after the season. So, and the powerhouses, which be like a Michigan, like a Ohio State, those kind of powerhouses, not those teams exactly, but when I look at it, I feel like Louisville will be able to give a lot of people a run for their money and really make the national title game. I know people are going to yell, they didn't play anybody big, they don't really play a lot of good people. Who cares? At this point, college football, if you win out all your games, you pretty much deserve, if you're in one of the top 8 conferences, to be in the national title game. I know Alabama will be there. I'm predicting Alabama not only to be in the game, but to win that game, to send things off right from the BCS and make it 3 back-to-back rings in a row for the Alabama Crimson Tide. I want to know what you guys think. Who do you think is going to be in a national championship game with the BCS system, the last one in existence? Do you think it's going to be Alabama versus Louisville? Do you think it's another SEC team, or do you think the SEC will even have a team this year? Chime in and leave your comments. You can check me out at justmypicks.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at justmypicks.tv. Also, check me out on YouTube.com/justmypicks.tv. Also, thank you very much for subscribing, and please share and comment on all my videos. God bless.